This is about prayer power. And me and my angel spent many hours and days and decades talking about prayer power. And I don't know why she was talking to me about prayer power. Because once I realized who I was, which is a warrior in God's army on the other side, the warrior leader, I stopped praying. No matter how hard she talked to me about prayer, I stopped praying. Especially when I had a near-death experience and I was face-to-face with God. I stopped praying, period. I saw God. I know He's real. I know what He's about. And I know He don't play. So I stopped praying for myself and started praying for others. I pray for courage. I pray for world peace. I pray for the homeless person in the street, the drug addict. But I stopped praying to myself, for myself. I stopped praying from probably 1986 all the way up to 2020 after I got old. And I realized that, brother, you better pray. But yes, prayer works. And probably a year ago, I'd say 2024, I went to missing my grandma. You know, I went to reading my life stories, and it made me think about my grandmama, you know, when I was with the claim, because of what she went through. You know, my granddaddy, every time he go out in public with my grandmama, who name was Roxy Reynolds, and he get jumped by white guys. My mama said they all were little children, you know what I mean? And they saw these white men, 20, 30 sometimes, beating up on their daddy for no reason. And my mama said he put up a good fight. He be beating them. But the numbers wore him down. You know, he get tired, and then that when they were able to get advantage of him and beat him and stomp him to the ground. You know what I mean? And he would take it out on my grandmama. You know, my mama say, every time he see her in that house, he beat her down unconscious. Every time he look at her, he beat her unconscious. Because every time they go out, the white man would jump on him because they thought he was with a white woman. Now, me, myself, I would have let her went out by herself. You get what I'm saying? If me gonna be seen with her getting me stomped, I wouldn't have went out with her in public. I would have let her go out with herself. You know what I mean? But that easy to say, but he was jealous. He didn't want to leave her home, and he didn't want her to go in public by herself. Because that's how pretty she was. If you look at the Reynolds today, the Reynolds in my family, they all are gorgeous. You know what I mean? They like half Indians. That's what we always were told until I went to Ancestry. And Ancestry basically saying they Irish, which makes sense also. You know, Irish Indians. But he would beat her every time he look at her, 24 hours a day, my mama say. The only time my grandma could get rested when this man was sleeping or going to work. But when he come to work, he beat her to a bloody pulp. When she bring his food, he beat her to a bloody pulp. And, you know, I was hating him for a long time, and until I became the property of the Ku Klux Klan. And I called my mama, please mama, they're gonna kill me. Please mama, this, please mama, that. When it first got started, and she would say, I don't give a damn if they the Ku Klux Klan or the Black Panther. If anybody put their hands on you, beat their ass. Can't nobody beat you, boy. You beat that Robinson boy when you were 12 or 13 years old, and he was the #1 heavyweight karate fighter in the world. Who can beat you? No one. And I did what I do. Every fight, especially the big fight, I think about my grandmama and how my granddaddy would beat her, and I think about how them white men would beat my granddaddy in the middle of the streets, in the middle of nowhere, and I say to myself, I don't care who you put in front of me. This is for my grandmama and my granddaddy. That's what I said before most big fights, right before the fight. So, I quit praying, from probably 86 to 2020 or something way up in there. And I realize I'm old now, and the people done did me all kind of ways in the medical industry. You know what I mean? For no reason. Leg cut off for no reason. Half a foot for no reason. I said, everybody time to pray, bro. You ain't strong no more. You need help. And I started praying. And that would save me. Because the medical industry wanted to kill me. You don't believe me? Read all the medical papers. Read all the medical papers and you will be astounded that things like this is allowed to happen nowadays. You will be astounded that the government, because I have Medicare, and insurance company will sit back and let what happened to me happen. When they're all looking at it, they're going over it. So that what started me to praying was the medical industry. So now I'm almost right now. I just got to get my eyes fixed and get some therapy to learn how to walk again. But other than that, I'm perfect now. I'm back to almost normal health wise, right? And so I went to think about my grandmama one day, and man, I ain't never seen grandma. I bet your grandmama was pretty. Cause I'm looking at my mama cousin, the Reynolds, and all them girls pretty and pretty. They look like Indians and all this stuff, and they just look different, But since ancestry said Irish kind of make a little sense, because have you ever seen a black Irish? Man, they beautiful. And so I went to praying. All of a sudden, please God, let my grandmama visit me. Please God, let my grandmama come see me. Because I know she guided me. Because I know anything happened when I was getting bullied and beat down. A lady in one of those Facebook rooms told me. She said, think of somebody in your family who were getting beat down and beat up a lot. She said, because Mr. Roger, it wasn't Mr. Roger, but they used Mr. Roger's image because they know that image make you feel comfortable. So they use his image to take you to heaven, to the kids section, to calm you down after you get beat up real bad. And they say, think of one person in your family who will get a bruise and beat up real bad. And I couldn't think of nobody but my grandmama. So I knew right then, yep, the lady right. That probably was grandmama the whole while walking me through this bully stuff and getting beat up, real bad and all that stuff. So I kept praying, God, let me meet my grandmama, please. If you can grant me a wish, let me meet my grandmama. And prayers come true. I had the dream. Me and my older brother and my other brother were just chilling around the house. And it was this old lady come there. And that old lady we called Grandma. She was beautiful. Long, dark, grayish Indian hair. And she would look at me with a look that where you don't even have to talk. And she was looking at me as saying, thank you. thank you. And she was looking at me as if I was not normal. And in the dream, I knew why she was looking at me. For what I did against the claims. And for also for getting the most least minority friendly degree on the planet. I broke all the rules. Well, back in her days, you couldn't even think of. You couldn't think of going to college to get the most least minority degree on the planet. You couldn't think of fighting a white man week after week, year after year in their own backyard and live to talk about it. Back then, you come and look at a white man or a woman and they can kill you. And she was looking at me as if I was the savior. You know, so I already know she was proud of me. And when I woke up, I immediately called my brother. Hey. I just met grandmama. Because it was real. And I met her 2 other times after that. And they were amazing. We don't even talk in the dream. We talk through thoughts. Now I talked to my brother in the dream because I ain't like when he was taking my grandmama, talking about taking down to the red house where everybody be drinking and all this stuff at. But then again, she missed out on that in life because even in the dream, she said she would like to go. And I thought about it, you know. In real life, she done had the opportunities to party and be around people having fun and laughing. Her whole life was tense. Scared when this man gonna come home. Wondering when this man gonna finally kill her. Wondering when her next beating coming. How many beatings she gonna get that day, the next day, or that day. So in the dream she say, I wanna go, baby. And I'm like, go ahead, grandma. Boy, don't let nobody touch my grandmama. Oh boy, ain't nobody gonna touch grandmama. That was the end of the dream. So don't nobody tell me that prayers aren't powerful for her. Because prayer got me to meet my grandmama. Which is almost, to the average person would say, that's impossible. She been dead. Oh, it's possible. It's possible, trust me. Thank you, and God bless.